Welcome to the channel. Passing by to thank everyone for registering, we gained 900 subscribers. Are we going to reach 1,000 subscribers? I count on your registration.
Let's go to the video.
Real Madrid, Chelsea or join Cristiano Ronaldo and company in Saudi Arabia? Victor Osimhen's summer transfer options rated Napoli confirmed star striker will leave this summer. The Nigerian striker has not yet revealed where he will go at the end of the season, but he will be able to choose between Europe's elite clubs. When Victor Osimhen finally signed a new contract with Napoli in December after the most protracted negotiations, the Partenopei proudly proclaimed in a social media post that the club and player work together until 2026. There was never any chance of him staying that long, of course. Everyone knew that Osimhen would still leave the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. After all, the only reason it took so long to reach an agreement on an extension was the disagreement over the size of the release clause. The two parties ultimately agreed on a fee of approximately €130 million, pound $113/$144 million, which a top European club is expected to pay this summer. In fact, Osimhen publicly admitted just this week that he has already decided where he will play next season.
So where is he likely to go?
Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis says it will be Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain or the Premier League, but which potential destination would best suit the striker? Goal looks at all the options open to Osimhen below. Saudi Professional League. Al Hilal did everything they could to try and sign Osimhen last summer, but Napoli turned down some huge offers for their permanent player. Interestingly though, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia agent claimed earlier this month that his client's clubmate would be a late arrival in Saudi Arabia this summer, only for an outraged Osimhen to respond by calling Mamuka Djugilai an idiot and stated he was embarrassed by the reasoning behind the statement. So, could Al Hilal or another Saudi Pro League club backed by the country's public investment fund, PIF, make another move for Osimhen at the end of the season? Undoubtedly. There is no limit to PIF's ambition or spending power, and Osimhen would be an incredible coup for the Pro League as he is no Karim Benzema or Cristiano Ronaldo. This is a striker at the height of his powers. However, it remains very difficult to predict any set of circumstances that could lead Osimhen to seriously consider a move to the Middle East at this stage in his career, especially when considering that he has already stated that he would actually find MLS more attractive than a Saudi Arabian movement. Liverpool have never spent more than €100 million on a player, so talk of an Osimhen transfer has calmed in recent months, not least because the Premier League leaders are well stocked in attack and have few problems scoring goals, even without Mohamed Salah, who is away on an international mission. But what happens when the Egyptian king vacates his throne at Anfield? The Reds will need a worthy heir, and despite the marked improvement in his overall play this season, Darwin Núñez still doesn't look capable of matching Salah's average of 30 goals per season. So if another multi-million-pound offer arrived from Saudi Arabia this summer, Liverpool could well be tempted to accept it this time and spend most of that money on Osimhen, a striker with his best years ahead of him. However, Liverpool are no longer such an attractive proposition, as it has just been confirmed that the brilliant Jurgen Klopp will leave Anfield this summer. Anfield is still Anfield, of course. But the prospect of working with a coach who has signed the likes of Robert Lewandowski and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang would certainly have pleased Osimhen. However, there is also the possibility that Salah could extend his stay on Merseyside, given the good performance of both himself and his teammates, and Liverpool would not even enter the contest in that scenario. Saint-Germain. De Laurentiis claimed last summer that the only European team that could really afford Osimhen was PSG. However, the release clause changed things a bit, making the 25-year-old affordable for a few other select clubs. Even more significantly, however, PSG has since spent €65 million on a striker, Gonçalo Ramos. The question, then, is whether the League One leaders are truly in a position to sign Osimhen without releasing the Portuguese international, who appears completely unsuited to Luis Enrique's style of play. There's also the question of Kylian Mbappé. Will the World Cup winner stay at the Parc des Princes or flee to the Santiago Bernabéu? If he leaves, it would be a goal hammer for the PSG brand, but it would at least loosen the club's budget restrictions for the type of number 9 shirt that the team so desperately needed to replace the guaranteed goals that Mbappé would take with him to Madrid. In short, PSG are an undisputed candidate to sign Osimhen, but there are many variables at play in Paris at the moment. Manchester United. Manchester United are counting the cost of not getting enough money to sign Harry Kane last summer. While the England international is breaking Bundesliga records at Bayern Munich, Erik ten Hag's side have struggled terribly to score goals, scoring just 24 goals in 21 Premier League games this season. Anthony Martial is a waste of space, Marcus Rashford's form has fallen off a cliff, and while Rasmus Højlund can become a top striker, he will need time and patience to do so. United then urgently need a proven goalscorer, and if they can somehow raise some money by clearing the deadwood at Old Trafford this summer, Osimhen is the obvious choice to lead the line in this new era under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who is perfectly aware of the need to spend a lot to return the club to its former glory. Of course, convincing Osimhen that his career would be best served by a move to Manchester may not be so simple, considering how many expensive signings have failed at United over the last 10 years. Real Madrid. It was not at all surprising to see reports recently emerge alleging that an internal war is taking place at Real Madrid over the club's continued pursuit of Mbappé. The French striker is the best player in the world at the moment, but he has led Los Blancos in a merry dance over the last 2 years, and some directors would apparently prefer to sign Osimhen, believing he would make, with a significant amount of justification, a choice better for Carlo Ancelotti's team than Mbappé. Real Madrid are certainly not short on talent, but they still need a top-class striker following the shock departure of Karim Benzema last summer. Joselu did a decent job when called upon, but at 33 it was always just a short-term solution to the problem. Osimhen, then, looks a perfect tactical fit for Real Madrid, but the feeling persists that if they want to spend big on a striker this summer, it will be Mbappé, the gift-free transfer who will require a whopping signing fee and annual salary astronomical. Arsenal's underscore. Arsenal did not spend last summer's transfer wisely. They paid too much for Declan Rice and should never have gone near Kai Havertz, a player they simply didn't need. The money should have been reserved for an elite striker, as the Gunners don't have one. Edin Nketiah is nothing more than a useful substitute, while Gabriel Jesus, for all his attributes, will never score regularly at the highest level. Mikel Arteta loves the latter, of course, labeling him an incredible player for his work rate and the way he articulates the attack. Ultimately, though, Arsenal's title hopes were not helped by the fact that Jesus has scored just 3 times in the Premier League this season, which is why they are so heavily linked with Brentford's Ivan Toney. However, the Gunners are said to view Osimhen as their dream signing, which is understandable given that it is easy to imagine him combining brilliantly with the likes of Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. Osimhen would really add a whole new dimension to Arsenal's attack. The main obstacle that needs to be overcome, however, is the fee. Arsenal have financial fair play (FFP) concerns, and only by selling players can they hope to get close to having enough money to meet Osimhen's buyout clause. So while he will definitely thrive in the Emirates, it seems like a big ask from an economic standpoint right now.
Chelsea.
Joining Chelsea could obviously be a disastrous decision for Osimhen. Many players who have arrived at Stamford Bridge in the last 18 months have failed dismally to live up to expectations, and their opportunities have undeniably been hampered by the club's scattershot approach to transfers. However, Osimhen could undeniably help bring everything together. Despite all the money spent by the new owners, Chelsea still don't have a prolific number 9, which has been a huge problem as much of the good work done in the build-up is wasted. The Blues are one of the most wasteful teams in the Premier League. Osimhen would change all that. Chelsea would have a serious aerial threat in the area, as well as a fast runner, capable of exploiting the space behind the high lines. It is also important to note that, in addition to having repeatedly expressed his desire to play in the Premier League, Osimhen idolizes Didier Drogba and was thrilled to get the chance to play at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League with Lille 5 years ago. If Chelsea can raise some cash by selling some of the many valuable assets they have accumulated in West London over the past few seasons, it is very easy to see Osimhen becoming the Blues' next number 9.